Now, our top story has to do with the Iran nuclear deal. The head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran is calling on other signatories to the nuclear deal to try their best to keep the 2015 agreement alive.
It is a battle that we have to win. We cannot afford losing this battle. This is a word of caution I'm conveying here. I also hope that these words that have been expressed, or the political positions that have been expressed by the European Union, China and Russia as well, to turn into deeds.
In a press conference in the Belgian capital, Brussels, Salehi said a joint comprehensive plan of action is the only deal possible under the present circumstances. He also warned the EU of, quote, ominous consequences if it fails to secure the nuclear deal alive. Salehi said that it is in the interests of no one for the accord to break down. EU Energy Commissioner Miguel Arias Canete also said that the bloc is willing to go ahead with its plans despite the obstacles created by the United States. Salehi is in Brussels to attend the third EU-Iran seminar on international nuclear cooperation, which is due to be held on the 26th and 7th of November. From Niagara Falls, I'm now joined by political commentator Jason Unruhe. Jason, this is again a warning, in addition to the warning given by Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif. Maybe this is one of the last warnings that Iran is giving to the other signatories, apart from the U.S. that just left the JCPOA, to try to take action and to turn, as Mr. Salehi said, the wars into deeds and action. Do you think Europe will do that?
Well, I think it's a toss-up as to whether or not they're really going to do it, but it's definitely in their best interest to do so. I think that at least a conglomeration of some of the European states will definitely come together and provide some kind of relief for Iran in order to keep in the agreement. However, I have serious doubts that they will manage to keep up what has been fully lost with the withdrawal of the United States. It seems that at least the European signatories to the JCPOA agreement are at least in agreement with keeping it running in order to avoid Iran deciding to go ahead and start refining uranium to a weapons-grade degree, which was never really the goal of Iran to begin with. I think it's definitely necessary for Iran to put this kind of pressure on the European Union. If they do want to keep up with the agreement, which many of the signatories have said that they do, then they need to live up to their end of the agreement. Why should Iran be the only one who has been a part of the agreement that's been doing exactly what has been expected of them? And this is a larger case that's been largely created by the United States, carrying out its dishonorable acts of withdrawing from agreements without any kind of just cause, merely for the sake of trying to force a new one. This situation must be incredibly frustrating for many of the officials inside of Iran who have been doing exactly what was asked of them, doing exactly what it is that they have promised to do. So I think that there's a really terrible situation here where Europe is placed in a position where it has to do, or at least it morally should do, as much of it as it can to keep up with the agreement itself. But it's certainly in a disadvantaged position where they don't have the kind of economic clout that the United States has. But I think that definitely overall the Europeans will certainly try to put forth some effort to maintain the agreement.
And Jason, keeping this deal and keeping actually Iran in the deal, it doesn't only benefit Iran, it also benefits the European sides, doesn't it?
It definitely does. I mean, there's a lot of trade that Europeans want to carry out with Iran, much trade which has been blocked as a result of the United States and their desire to punish anyone who decides to continue to act in good faith with Iran, those who haven't violated the agreement. It is much in the economic interests of the European Union to seek that kind of resolution where hostilities don't become ramped up and the United States decides to start doing what it had promised to do so that Europe can return to conducting business as usual. Already the French energy company Total has been threatened by the United States. that if they continue to carry out lawful trade with Iran, they're going to be punished. And as a result, they withdrew their contracts, their operations inside of Iran to avoid the frankly criminal actions of the United States so they could continue doing business. I mean, this is not good for anybody. Nobody really benefits from this but the United States in trying to destabilize or possibly even destroy the Iranian society, the established order within society and its democratic elected leaders. So this is very much in the interest of the European powers to continue to carry out their own interests, allow themselves the ability to do business with who it is they want to do business with, which is a huge part of their own sovereignty. Much of the reason for the formation of the European Union was to get together to defend their own collective interests against imperialist powers like Britain, like the United States. And by allowing the United States to continue going on to do this, hinders them from doing business which they want to do with it, which undermines their sovereignty.
Okay. Appreciate your comments. Political commentator Jason Unruhe, who joined us from Niagara Falls, Ontario.